After battling depression for 20 years, our next speaker learned to take charge of her happiness by taking control of her own thoughts. Now, she inspires others to make their minds work for them too. Please welcome to the stage, Luann Clark.
Wouldn't it be great to have a personal coach with you all the time? Someone to cheer you on as you meet your challenges? I have someone who's with me all the time, but she isn't a coach. She doesn't cheer for me. Instead, she says things like, "You have nothing of value to say to this audience. They already know everything you're going to say. Besides, you don't deserve to succeed because, frankly, you haven't worked hard enough." I hope that the things I just said are not true, but I have been hearing them all morning inside my head. Meet my constant companion, my inner critic. She's that negative voice that is with me all the time. She chastises me when I make a mistake. She calls me names like dummy and failure, loser, and worse things that I won't say here. And I bet you know someone a lot like her, someone who lives inside your head. Do you know what the inner critic is? It's a mental Frankenstein's monster. It's cobbled together from all the harsh criticisms we've gathered over our lifetimes. And it starts when we're very young. We take the ideas of others and we internalize them. We take their ideas about who we are and how we measure up, or how we don't. The internal critic repeats your worst fears to yourself in a voice that sounds like yours because you've said these things to yourself so many times. I gave my inner critic her own name. I call her Little Miss Goody Two-Shoes because she's always just perfect. Naming the critic helps me to see her not as a part of me, but apart from me. When I do workshops on this topic, I'll ask the participants to write down the things that their internal critic says about them. Then I tell them to turn to the person next to them and say those things out loud to that person. They're always horrified because we would never speak to another person the way we speak to ourselves. We're criticizing ourselves because we want to create the motivation to improve. There's just one problem. It doesn't work. You're criticizing yourself because you want to get better. But the inner critic is a habit of thinking. And like any other habit, it can be changed. You can turn your inner critic into your inner coach. I know. I know because of a conversation I had recently with my critic. One day when I was arguing with Little Miss Goody Two-Shoes, she said something completely unexpected, something she'd never said before. She said, "Hey, I'm just trying to help you, okay? I'm on your team." Wait, what? You're trying to help me? By being so mean? You're not helping. Everything you say to me is so painful. I'm demoralized by your terrible, ugly criticisms. I just want to quit and I'll fight with you all the time. I'd love to get rid of you. I'd love to shut you down and shut you up. Couldn't you be a little nicer to me? Could you maybe encourage me occasionally? Could you speak to me maybe like a life coach? And she went, I guess I could do that. if you'd stop being such a witch. But she also said, look, I'm trying to keep you safe. I don't want you to go out there and look like an idiot. I don't want you to make a fool of yourself. I don't want you to get into trouble. And I said, I appreciate that. But guess what? I don't want to be safe. You know what I do want? I want to grow. And growth always involves risk. If you never risk anything new, you never grow. And she said, that's fair. Okay. So me and my little multiple personality self decided to do something different. I decided to work with the critic instead of against her. As you heard at the beginning, we aren't perfect, but we're getting closer. And you can do the same thing with your critic using the same 3-step process. The first step is to become mindful of what the critic says. Try writing it down. You'll see for yourself that it's not 100% true, and it's not even close to kind. If you wouldn't say it to someone, remember, you are someone. The second step is to see the goal of the critic. Is your critic trying to help you? Is your critic trying to keep you safe? And the third step is to ask the critic to have a little compassion, to extend some kindness to the person he or she is trying to help. In fact, you know what? Go ahead and command that critic to show you some kindness because you are in charge of your own mind. If you hear nothing else I say today, please hear this. You're beating yourself up because you want to be better. But beating yourself up does not make you a better person. It makes you a beaten person. And how does a beaten person behave? Small, timid, fearful. Not like the action-oriented achievers I know you to be. I know you are, or you wouldn't be in this room. So please, stop beating yourself up, because believe me, you are not the one human on the face of the earth who thrives on cruelty. Let's face it, most of us have had more than enough criticism. We don't need more criticism. Self-criticism saps your energy. It will stop you from taking action if you let it. Ask me how I know. We may sometimes need feedback about how we're performing so we can improve, but you're more likely to use that feedback if it comes from a person who is genuinely interested in your success, if it comes wrapped in encouragement. And by encouragement, I don't mean those affirmations, that empty praise that just puffs you up. You're not a hot air balloon. Nobody flies just because they get their ego inflated. But genuine encouragement, even self-encouragement, can help you achieve the goals that you are fully capable of meeting. Earlier, you heard the words of my inner critic. Now, hear the words of my inner coach. I'm proud of you. You did it. Good job. Way to be daring. Way to be bold. You put yourself out there. You risked rejection. And maybe, just maybe, the audience got something of value to take with them.